Hey friends, welcome to One Little Coder. In this Stable Diffusion tutorial, we are going to learn how to generate photorealistic portraits of human beings using Dreamlike Photoreal 2.0 model. This model is a Stable Diffusion 1.55 tuned model, and this can help us create very high quality, really good looking pictures. I'm going to show you a sample picture. This is a picture that I just generated using this model. Nothing fancy, just straight out of the model, simple positive and negative prompt, and it really looks good. The only catch that I have with this model is the way this model has been licensed. Before we move on to the next section of how to use this model, I would like to first highlight the license. This model has been modified with Creative ML OpenRail M license. Okay, that's fine. But what is the catch here is you are not allowed to host, fine tune, or do inference with the model or its derivatives on websites or apps. If you want to do it, you have to contact them. You are free to use the outputs of the model for commercial purposes in teams of 10 or less. I am not very sure what are they trying to do here. First, they are not letting anybody use this model for other, to build on top of it. I can understand they've put their effort, but also they don't want big teams to use it. So I'm quite confused. I don't know if this is the right or not right to do, but honestly, I'm a lot confused with the way this model has been licensed. I don't know how people would use it. As a hobbyist, people like me would always use it because I'm not going to use the images for commercial purpose. But a lot of people who does it professionally, I don't know what does it mean for them. Quite confused, but this is the way this model has been licensed. Very confusing. This model is currently available on Civit AI. It is also available on Hugging Face, and it has got both the CKPT and also the safe tensor, which we can always use if you do not trust the CKPT file, about which I've got a lot of video. I've got a video already on my channel. Now, there are certain things that you need to take care when you want to use this model. One, non-square aspect ratios work fine for certain type of images. For example, if you want a portrait, like a human portrait image, then the good thing is for you to have like a vertical image. So you can have a vertical aspect ratio that is quite good for portrait image. If you want a landscape photo, then horizontal aspect ratio should be fine, which we'll see while we are generating the prompt. Another important thing to notice, the author has warned this model is horny. So you have to add these words to the negative prompt if you want to avoid NSFW. While I was testing this model, I never got any NSFW image, but that's something for you to keep in mind. I think that's enough of me talking about this model. Now let's get into the action. First, for you to use this model, I'm going to use the last bin Stable Diffusion. So go to the last bin Stable Diffusion, which I'll link it in the YouTube description. Click the automatic 1111 link. Once you click that, you will reach this place. Just make sure that you have got runtime, which is GPU. So go here, click runtime, change runtime, and then see if you have got GPU as the runtime accelerator. Once you do that, then you have to run the cell, which will give the Google Colab. So which will give this Google Colab the Google Drive access, that Google Drive that you have got. Next, install the automatic 1111 UI. The next, you have to install the required libraries. And this is the part where you're going to download the model link. The model link can be downloaded like this. You can go here, click other downloads, right click the model tensor file and copy the link address. And that is exactly the same address that you would paste here. If you want to use safe tensors, tick this. If you do not want to use your Google Drive storage, tick this. I've not checked both of these. Next, you can start the Stable Diffusion. When you start the Stable Diffusion, you can use two methods. One, you can either generate a Gradio link or you can generate a local tunnel link, in which case, this particular case, I'm happy to have a local tunnel link. Tick, check mark this and run it. Once you run this, you're going to get a local tunnel link. Once you have the local tunnel link, once you click it, you will get a small warning message, and after that you will get this very popular automatic 1111 UI. Once you reach this UI, just select the model, just to make sure that you have selected the model. Now we are going to talk about prompts. We have got positive prompt, we have got negative prompt, and then we have got certain steps that we need to take care of. The first thing is I'm going to explain the steps, like the parameters. Then we will go look at the positive and negative prompt. In terms of the parameters, you are free to use almost any sampling method. I have tried a couple of things. I don't see huge difference, but I think recently I've been a fan of DPM family, DPM++, 2S Keras, DPM++ SDE, DDIM. Recently I've been using this a lot for any model that I pick. Maybe I'm biased towards it, but yeah, you can start with Euler A as well. Like I've seen good images with just Euler A. Next, I'm going to just stick with 20 steps, and I'm going to stick with the CFG scale, the guidance scale of 7. And in terms of seed, I went with random seed because I wanted to just generate different images, which you can also try. I'm not doing any high-res fix. I'm not doing any face restoration. I'm not doing any tiling. But if I were to do high-res fix after I generate an image, I'm going to probably use latent bicubic, something in latent. And then I'm going to do the high-res with a very low denoising strength. We'll see if we have time to do high-res fix as well. Like if you want a really high resolution. The next thing for you to notice, the negative prompt, like as we saw, this can also create certain kind of images. So it's always good to have some negative prompts, especially if you do not want NSFW, then add the relevant negative prompts. But otherwise, we have the standard ones as negative prompts: cartoon, 3D, disfigured, bad art, strange, blurry, boring. I'll link all these negative prompts in the YouTube description so you can directly copy and paste it. The next thing for you to keep in mind is this prompt is quite a templated prompt. So first you have got photo off, and then describe the age, and then describe how you want, like for example, average. This is definitely not an average looking woman, but yeah, average looking woman with pale skin. And do you want any specific background? Like for example, I've tried with neon lights, natural background. What kind of person it is, the characteristics, and what is the part of the image that you want. The hair color has a lot of impact. Like in, for example, I've tried white blonde, I don't know, blonde is white. Okay, blonde, black hair, especially when you work with multiple ethnicity. If, for example, when I tried Indian women with a blonde hairstyle, it actually looked very bad. For me to look at it, it didn't go well. So just keep this combination intact. That will help you. Green eyes, blue eyes, brown eyes, whatever eyes you want. Detailed skin. Then to have this depth of field, then you specify this camera, the megapixel, and all these kind of things. So this is a very basic prompt. It's a templated prompt for you to generate more variations. That the things that you have to change is, like, you can change the age, you can change like the gender, you can change the skin type, you can change the type of the character that you have got, you can change the background here, you can change what part you want to see, you can change the eye color, you can change the hair color. These are certain things that you can always play with. And now the interesting part is, like, if you want to generate portrait, I have used here a square image, but it has been noted duly by a lot of people that if you want a portrait, a vertical image would do well. If you want to generate actually like natural sceneries, a landscape image would do fine. Now I'm going to actually create some more images, and then we are going to see how it is going to work. I'm not going to edit this video a lot so that you know actually how does it look. The one thing that I recently liked in the last bin is when you generate an image, it actually shows you some blurry image so that you get an idea. So I'm going to keep the same prompt, but because my seed is a random seed, I'm going to generate and then see what happens. So you can see that it would take about like 20 to 30 seconds, depending upon the type of sampling method used, depending upon the number of samplers that you use, the time would change. Again, this is another problem that you might face sometimes, especially when you have different resolution, which is like you would get two pictures of the same image. Then in those kind of cases, I would advise you to not have a square image, like rather have like a vertical image. So like I've got a width 512, height 768, and I'm going to click generate now. This should ideally avoid the two heads or two faces of the same human being that you usually see. And again, certain attributes that you can actually see, like because you have given green eyes, It also generates like a green colored dress, which is not ideal. In case if you don't want, you can specifically say what color dress you want that particular character to wear. Character AI. So again, this is I like this image. Like, this is really good. The skin tone is really good. The hair is quite straightened. It's good. The color shade is good. The lighting is good. The background is good. But if you want again to upgrade it, like upscale it, so then you can go click high res fix, select something like latent bicubic, and then keep a very low denoising strength, something like 0.3, and click generate. You can now click generate, and then that is going to help you with high res fix as well. In my case, it may not be like what I did right now is not the right way to do it, because I didn't set my seed. But what ideally you should do is try different iterations of the image, find the image that you like for that seed, then do this thing. So that will help you give a better result than like what I just did. I just randomly gave that option and then tried. And because we are doing high res, like you can see that we are doing 512 by 768 to 1024 by 1536. I don't even know what is 1536 resolution. My bad, I'm so sorry. But you can see it takes time because now GPU is at work. It's trying to do upscaling, default upscaling that you have got in Stable Diffusion. I'm not even using different upscaling methods or models that Stable Diffusion recently released. Now, the good thing about this model is also that this model is not only for human portraits. It can do a lot more things, and you can see the examples here. These are like really good. These are good portraits. The phone image, like the natural image, natural image. This is quite a protogenish stuff. You got the fingers. I don't know. I didn't try fingers a lot, but you can actually see like a lot of good pictures. The pictures are really good. It's just that you have to try it with the different seed value, different prompts, and different sampling method that will ideally give you some success in the way you want. So after we generate this image, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this image in a new tab for us to zoom in and then see, because we are doing a high res fix. We need to see how the details look when we have zoomed in. That's the whole point of high res fix. So we've got 2 more seconds. Another thing a lot of people try and then it helps them is they generate something using text to image, then move the image to image to image, and there they try to change the attributes of the image in it itself. So that's another workflow a lot of people use. I'm not sure if it has actually done a good high res fix. Yeah, it in fact looks bad. Maybe it's the denoising strength. Anyways, like I'm not going to do the high res fix. I'm going to go back to DDIM and I'm going to ask for a different human. So I'm going to say photo of 30 years, average looking woman, pale skin, natural background, and I'm going to say blonde hair, curly blonde hair, green eyes, detailed skin. I can also say I want red neon lights in the night, and I can say generate now. Let's see what happens. The rest of the things I've kept same. Sampling step 20. I've changed the sampling method to DDIM. This looks quite bad, I would say. But again, okay. I should have. I mean, the image looks good. Like, the image looks good. But let's try the same prompt. I'm keeping the same prompt and generating again. The neon lights are there a little bit. Not very, like, I wouldn't say like it's at the perfect state. That's all. This is another good looking image. I would say the curly hair. I don't know if this is how the images, like this is another good looking image. Instead of green eyes, with green eyes, I'm going to say leather jacket. And I'm going to generate. So this is again to particularly optimize what you see on the picture, because we have said green eyes a lot of times. You don't get completely what you want. So now you're actually changing it. The eyeballs do not look perfect for me in this. But again, the leather jacket has actually worked, the blonde and all those things. So now I want to say curly or just brown hair. And I'm going to say photo of 30 years, average looking women, college girl, full skin. and let's generate this. So I've kept everything else same, and I've just changed the hair to brown, and the women I've changed it to college girl. So this looks pretty bad, I would say. Yeah, the eyeballs look bad. So I'm going to stick back to average looking women, and then click generate, and then see what is it going to do. One of the things that I've always noticed with these images, as the shot becomes wider, these images have pretty bad eyeballs. This is not good. Let me generate one more. The leather jacket is, I think, kind of messing up the way I've mentioned leather jacket. Okay. Yeah, I think the leather jacket is messing up. So maybe instead of leather jacket, I can. Okay, this doesn't look bad. The hair is quite good. Yeah, this is good. But again, the eyeballs are messed up. But the skin tone is really good. So this is the way you have to play with this model. Like I said, if you are interested in portraits, keep a vertical aspect ratio. If you're interested in landscape, keep a horizontal aspect ratio. Try different sampling method that can also have an impact in the kind of images that you see. Overall, I think this is what I wanted to cover. I'm really I am a big fan of analog diffusion, and this kind of looks like what analog diffusion would do. The cinematic style, very detailed. But again, the license is the weirdest part of this model. I don't know what kind of impact it would have in your workflow. Let me know in the comments. But otherwise, this is a really good model to try it out if you are a fan of Stable Diffusion. All the required links will be in the YouTube description. If you have any other question, let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, happy prompting.